Super Solars. Over the last few years, the homicide rate in our city has reached and continues to reach an all-time high. For the first time, according to the Baltimore Sun, Baltimore City is expected to surpass New York City in the number of homicides for the 2017 year. New York City has a population estimated at 8.5 million, and Baltimore City has a population of 620,000. And as of October 24th, Baltimore City's homicide number is 278, and that was as of October 24th. African American males 9 times out of 10, black young men are at both ends of the gun in these cases. They're the ones committing the crime, and they're also the victims. So all these murders happening every day, back to back, every other day, has caused me to worry about the young lives that are being lost. But mainly, 10 to 15 years from now, there are going to be a lot of fatherless children, sons and daughters without their father, and kids need their father. So in this project, I wanted to talk to the women who are left behind after these violent crimes, with the responsibility to carry on. The women who have lost their sons, and the women who are now alone raising theirs.
Hi, my name is Wanda Frazier. I'm a mother of a lost son. My son was murdered in July. It's been 4 months, and his name was Daryl Owens.
So, Mr. Wanda, what is your definition of a mother?
A mother to me is someone who takes care of their child, raise their children. They don't even have to be their biological child. A mother is someone who nurtures a person, period, in general, and help them be successful in life. That's what I feel a great mother is.
Tell us about the moment when you realized you had lost your son due to a homicide.
That was like a nightmare. When I received that phone call at 4:22 in the morning, it was the worst day of my life. I never ever want to experience that again. It was like somebody just took my heart out from my body right then and there. It's like a stop breathing moment for me.
Do you know the reason behind him being murdered?
Yes.
Now, you don't have to go into detail, but
I did,
just a little bit. You don't have to go so deep either.
My son is so overprotective over people that he loves. If he loves you, he always trying to help somebody out. If somebody have a problem, he always trying to be the person to go save them. You have a beef with somebody, an argument or something, my son always there to help. And he lost his life again, standing in somebody else's situation, trying to be the bigger person, just being there for the person, not involved in anything, just being there. His presence alone intimidated the person to kill him.
Were you and your son close?
Very close. Very close. My son was the breath of me. Do you blame
his lifestyle? Do you blame yourself?
I don't blame myself, because I believe that I did all I could for my son as far as leading him in the right direction, trying to help him become successful. I gave him the tools that need him to life to do what he's supposed to do. Now, as a parent, you can only do but so much. People have their own mind.
Right.
They're going to do whatever they want to do. So I blame society for black males, because they don't have a lot of role models. They don't have a lot of good role models. But then my son had a lot of them in his life, like his father, his uncles.
Right.
So he made the decisions to do the things that he wanted to do on his own.
So he had father figures. He had that leadership.
Definitely. His father is a good father. His father was there for him, like 110.
Right. So how has this impacted you with being a mother to your other children? Like, how are you now with your other children? I'm
very overprotected over my daughter. I have a 17-year-old daughter. I'm very overprotected over her. Everywhere she go, I want to know what time. It's like I always been that way, but now it's more, and it's like I'm smothering her now because of the situation with my son.
Yeah, she's your only daughter.
Right, she's my only daughter. But I do have a baby coming November 17th. I'm not pregnant. I have a surrogate. The baby due November 17th in 2 weeks.
All right, yeah, that's gonna take us way off. Okay, so how is your daughter coping with this loss of losing her brother?
Oh, it's hard for her. It's real hard for her, George. We go to Roberta House.
Right.
We interact with other parents or other people like us,
right.
So they know how we feel as far as losing loved ones is close to us. My daughter and my son, we are a very close-knit family. So to lose her brother is like she lost everything.
And is this is these one of the ways that you cope? Is this how you cope with it, by going to the Roberta house?
Yes, I have. We have therapy too. We go to therapy. I have individual therapy that I have, and my daughter, she has an individual therapist as well. Roberta is our second support group.
Did Daryl have children?
Daryl had no kids.
You only had 2 children?
Yes, I had 2. Yep.
Okay, so what would you say to the young man or young woman who may be thinking of committing an act right now that may take somebody else's son or somebody else's loved one?
Basically, you need to think about what you're doing. The impact that you're doing when you kill someone else, you're impacting your life as well as someone else's family life. And you have no idea how many people are being impacted on one person that you killed. The loss of my son, it has definitely changed my whole family, my whole outlook on life has changed. So, and I just want people to know, like, you need to put the guns down. You're not the person who takes someone's life. You didn't bring him in the world. You shouldn't be the one to take him out.
And do you forgive your son's murderer?
No.
So what do you say? What do you say to the mothers today who have their sons right now, but their sons are in the streets or in a bad lifestyle? What do you say to those mothers who still have their sons today?
You still have a chance with your sons. Like, my son did a 360. My son, he wasn't an angel. You know, like everybody that know Buddha, wasn't an angel. But
none of us are angels.
Right, exactly. So, he turned his life around. He was doing the right thing. He was working. He was going to school. He was doing what he was supposed to do. So, to all the mothers out there that sons are in the street, they can change. Like, my son had changed. So they can change. Grab your son, hold him tight, tell him, like, I love you. Like, it's a whole nother world out there besides the world you living in. Come on, take a part of being a positive.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Go.
I'm Priya, and I lost my child's father 10 months ago due to a homicide.
Priya, so what is your definition of a mother?
The definition of a mother, I would say, is a nurturer. Loving, caring.
So tell us about the moment you realized you lost your child's father due to a homicide.
Okay, so that day was hard. Well, it was January the 3rd, and I got the phone call after he passed away, is when I found out that he was shot. So.
And do you know the reason behind it?
Nope.
How did you feel?
Oh my gosh, like my heart dropped to my stomach. It was hard.
Who called you? Like his family members?
His brother's girlfriend called me. His mother didn't contact me at all. She called his brother's girlfriend before she called me.
Wow.
So, and you still don't know what happened?
No. The only
Do
thing...
they know the murderer?
No. Nobody knows who did it. And I still don't know what happened to this day.
And so, were y'all still together?
Yes.
Do you blame yourself? I don't know if that's a crazy question to ask, but do you...
Sometimes.
Why?
Well, because I was always, like that day that it happened, I guess I was trying to like not be so pushy with him. Cause normally, cause he would drive my car, so normally I would tell him like, no, you need to come get me like now, and he would come. But this particular day, I was just like, okay, go ahead, I'll see you when you get here.
Right. But did you know that there was a chance of him being murdered? Did you know that he was into this lifestyle? Is he in this? Is he in that lifestyle of in the streets and
Yes,
he is in that lifestyle.
Yes.
So, but did you know that there was a chance?
I did. Because he lived that lifestyle, I tried to get him, to do better and do something else. And he was trying. He was getting himself together, and that's when I told him I never wanted that phone call.
So tell us about the ways this has impacted your life to you being a mother to your child. Like, how has this changed your whole view to you now being her mother?
I just know that you can't really trust anybody. And it's hard because my daughter and her father, their bond was so strong. So.
And how is she coping with this?
She's getting better, but at first it was terrible. She didn't want to go to school. She would, be disrespectful, fight teachers, principals.
How old is she?
Fight
Priya?
me.
How old
She's
is
6.
she? Priya? Oh.
She's 6 now, but it was hard.
Priya. Oh my gosh. So is it tough? Knowing? This is just a basic question. Is it tough knowing that you are left to raise your child on your own, or because of the history of the black lifestyle of black fathers and of the blacks household? Were you already on your own? Were you already prepared to be on your own?
I will say I was, because I'm not the type to depend on anybody anyway. But I grew up without my father, so I always wanted her to have a relationship, and
with her father.
Yeah.
So now that you are, how much? So now are you like, you gonna take care of her? You gonna make sure she.
Definitely.
So do she have any male figures that could, do she?
Yeah, I have my brothers and my father, who's there every day. So.
How's she doing? But how's she doing now?
She's doing better. She's going to school. Yeah. And, I did get her a therapist, and I feel like it's working because she didn't trust nobody.
And how old did you say she was?
She's 6.
And so what, did she still talk about it? And y'all still talk about it?
Yeah, at first she didn't want to talk about it at all. But now she talks about the things that they used to do together and stuff like that. So. And
what about, is she with his family? Did she talk to his family, his brothers at all?
His sister.
Okay.
On his father's side. He has a lot of siblings, but that's the only one.
So what would you say to the young male or the young woman who may be thinking about going out here now and committing an act that may cause somebody else to lose their father or their loved one?
I would just say, just think about, how you would feel if you had a child and, they had to live without you. And your parents, think about your parents, how your parents would feel if that same thing happened to them.
So you have your father and you have your mother helping you, right?
Yes.
So, how many kids did your child's father have?
That's his only one.
One daughter left without a father. Are y'all woke yet?
Okay, my name is Nikki. I am the mother of Vincent Keith Waters, who was murdered July 23rd of this year. It is approximately now almost 4 months that he was murdered in the streets of Baltimore.
What is your definition of a mother?
Wow. A mother. It doesn't have to be a bloodline. It's a person who raises someone, nurtures them, loves them. It's funny you asked me that question because I'm known as Mama Nikki on the streets, everybody. I pretty much take them all in. And it's not about blood. It's about caring for them, sitting there and talking to them. When you see something in their eyes or something's wrong, you're there for them. Letting them know you love them. Mm-hmm. Let them know you care. Listen to them. Mm-hmm. That's the definition of a mother.
So tell us about the moment when you realized that you had lost your son due to a homicide in our city.
Wow. That moment is still so vague to me. I remember getting the call at about approximately 5:55. And like most mothers, you regret that call. I've had that call before. My son's either locked up or he's gotten a fight and we got to get to the emergency room because of something happened, but never getting the call that you think he's gone. And at that time, when I'm asking the questions, right, and the other person on the line couldn't tell me my answers, I went into that mode, that mommy mode,
right,
where
I hung up, and I started calling every hospital and asking them, did you have, Vincent Keith Waters' age and everything. And then I remembered maybe he doesn't have his ID. So I had to describe. And I just went into this mode. And
so, do you know the reason behind it?
I never have gotten that answer yet. I know it was targeted. They walked up on him. The guy shook his hand and shot him in the chest. And then he tried to run, but he only got up on the street, and he collapsed on the corner of McCullough and Whitelock.
Were you and your son close?
Very much. We was tight as thieves. Sometimes when you're that close because someone's just like you, I try to educate my son on telling him that the streets got no love for you. I grew up, in a country setting, but the streets was always in my blood from my family.
Right.
And when I seen that in my son, I tried all my best to pull him away, to talk to him and let him know, you know what? It's not like when mommy was back there.
Right.
This game is no longer a game.
So do you blame his lifestyle? Do you blame yourself?
In the beginning,
not that you should, but do you?
In the beginning, I did, because of family and people, uncles, my brothers. He seen that, but then I also remembered. I also kept them to talk to him because they knew it. But the lifestyle, my son had this free will from the age of, I could say, like 3 months. He learned how to crawl out of the crib and didn't even know how to walk. So he was never a person to be caged. He was never a person to be going through. But at first, I blamed myself. Like, man, what could I have done different? But then I thought, I did everything different as a mother. I talked to him. I been out there pulling him off the streets, embarrassing him in front of his friends, taking his friends off the streets and making them all get in the car and dropping them off home. So I done that.
So I know you said they call you Mama Nikki, but is this your only son as far as the one that you birthed?
Yes, this is my only son.
So how has this made you? You said how many kids did he have? Did he have kids?
He had 4 kids. Mm-hmm.
So how has this changed you? How does this change you as a mom? How do you interact with your grandkids now? Are you going to be more protective? Like,
I am. I'm very much more protective. I'm much more guarded. I watch who they are around. I am always, you never know, because without his case being solved, I don't know. So I don't know who's around me. Are they around just because they're trying to find out what we know? Are they around? So I kind of keep a circle and a close net on them.
And you said he had 4 kids. Mm-hmm. So how are they coping with it? And how old are they?
Well, they're the ages of Caden, who is the oldest.
Right.
Caden's the oldest. He's 5.
Wow. They're young.
He's young. So he does it. He knows now that his daddy's in heaven. He looks just like him. He's spitting image of him. He had a daughter, Zanaya, which was his heart and angel. Mm-hmm. Harlem. Zanaya's only 3. Harlem is 1 year old. Wow. Now he had a stepdaughter, but he treated her like a daughter, so I always say that that's my extended granddaughter.
So what ways do you cope with this? And so I know you're reminding them of, how are you going to show them who their dad was? Through memories, through...
A lasting impression. My son is always with them.
Right.
At all things. I don't never let it, we can't, I believe in God. And I believe in my faith. And my faith is what's gotten me through what I'm going through. My faith allows me to continue to talk about him. We have videos, we have pictures. He did several videos, with raps in the rap game. And
he was a rapper.
He wasn't a rapper. He was more of my son was a fashionista. He took, he started a clothing line called NSL. And he went with it, and he kind of promoted it through a lot of the local artists in Baltimore.
You said it's NSL.
Mm-hmm. And it stands for Never Settle for Less.
Never Settle for Less.
Yep.
So what would you say to the young man or young woman who may be thinking of committing an act right now that may cause another mother to lose her son or somebody else to lose a loved one? what would you say to them?
I would say think about it first. Is it worth it? Honestly, is it really worth it? Is it worth you turning your life around for the rest of your life and messing up? Because it doesn't affect just the person who was murdered.
Right.
It affects your family. It affects your children. It affects your grandmother. It affects everybody. It affects our community. And I think the hardest thing is that we got to stop and put it down because it affects all of us.
So, do you forgive your son's murderer?
Oh, but of course. I publicly posted a Facebook page. I pray for him. Because if it's something that deep and dark that you felt that you had to take my son's life, I can only say that I ask God and I pray for strength.
Wow,
and
strong.
I give him
strong.
I gotta give him forgiveness, because in order for me to go on, I gotta forgive. Because I always believed in this. You know, that anger could kill you. And I'm not gonna let it kill me because I've got a lot of work to do and a lot of people that depend on me.
Okay, so what do you say to the mothers today who still have their sons, and their sons might not be in the best lifestyle, but what do you say to those mothers who still have their sons now, and their sons might be in the street, but what could you say to them?
I could say this. Tell them you love them. There's not a day that all the memories that you think about, there wasn't a day that me and my son never said, I love you. Every time we seen each other. I don't care if we was arguing. I could tell my son, you know, boy, you get on my nerves. Ooh, you make me so mad. But at the end of the conversation, Mommy, I love you. I love you too, son. We had that feeling or connect. I knew when he wasn't doing right. I call him up, what you up to? You're not doing right. I know you're doing something wrong, so what you doing? And and he'll go, Ma, I'm alright, I'm good. Alright, see me on Sunday. I need you to come by and let me put my eyes on you. You gotta let him know you love him.
So never settle for less. You said that was his clothing line. So now you said that you're picking that up and you're starting charities and things like that.
Yes, my daughters. He has 3 sisters.
Okay.
And they have decided to go with this, and they call it a movement. And this movement was dedicated. He started it, but now they're carrying on. So this movement is to let young people know that you don't settle for less, no matter what your circumstances are, no matter where you come from, no matter what your parents may do. We hear these stories. Oh, well, my mother was on drugs, my mother wasn't there, but somebody was there for you. And you can get out of a situation and make it better. And it doesn't take to stand on the corner and sell drugs and poison our community. It takes creativity. It takes whatever niche you have, find it. And I always say that hustle, turn it into a smart hustle. That street hustle, that game is gone.
Thank you, Miss Nikki.
You're welcome.
Right.
4 more kids left without their father. Are y'all woke yet?
Hi, my name is Shay, and it's been a little over a year since I lost my child's father to murder.
So Shay, what is your definition of a mother?
Oh my God. A queen. Independent. Fearless. It is I think that a mother has no definition, honestly, and if it does, it's like a million of them, because you have to be so many different people. You have to be their friend, you have to be their provider, you have to be a lover, you have to be everything that your child needs.
So tell us about the moment when you realized you lost your child's father due to a homicide.
Well, we are Muslim, so I was really devout into my faith, real bad into it, and doing everything by my deen, covered every day, everything. And it was Eid Mubarak, July 6, 2016. And I was coming back from Laurel from a dinner, and his sister called me and was like, Shay, you gotta get to the hospital. So I'm like, huh? What's going on? I'm thinking something happened to my son. And they was like, just hurry up and try and make it. By the time I got there, he was already dead. Someone had rolled up and shot him in front of my mother's house. So it was
Do you know the reason?
most devastating thing that
Do you know the reason behind it? You don't have to speak on it, but
I really don't. I just think it was more so retaliation type of thing, or just him being who he is. Really.
And so Were y'all still together?
No, we hadn't been together in 4 years, but we were the perfect co-parents.
So y'all don't blame yourself at all
For us not being together?
for his murder or homicide.
No, I don't blame myself, but I did blame Allah, which is the wrong thing to do in times like that. I lost all faith. You know, as Muslims, we pray 5 times a day. I can't remember the last time I prayed exactly 5 times. I do pray at least 2 or 3 times, but like, I had lost all faith because I couldn't believe that, you know, Allah would take something that special away from us. Like,
you said y'all had a good time.
We parented, like, you know, we were cool, we parented, we did everything in the best interest of our child, and that's all that mattered. So
was he in a lifestyle where you thought it was a chance of him being murdered?
I didn't think so, because he was just like a good guy. Like, I don't even care if he did 1,000,001 things wrong. He was a good man. Like, he not cruddy, he don't do nobody wrong. So like, I couldn't understand.
So tell us about how this has impacted you being a mother to your child, to your children.
Well, we have all been in therapy since then, still to this day.
And that's how your son is coping with
my
this.
youngest son is his child, you know, his only son. And he took it really hard. So by him taking it so hard, I took it really hard. And then, you know, I started to convert back to what I did wrong in our relationship. Like, Dig, if I wouldn't have did what I did, we'd have still been together, and this would have never happened.
Right.
So, you know, you think about all the would-have, could-haves and things like that. But, you know, it's just like a growing process, and it's something that you never accept.
So is it tough knowing that you are left to raise your child on your own? Are you on your own? And because of the history of black households, were you already prepared to be on your own? Like,
wow, I have a 7-year-old, and his dad has been locked up since he was 4 months. So before I even had my second son, I was already a single mother, completely a single mother. Like, I had no help with my son. It was just me, I'm mom, dad, and everybody else. So with Trues, when he came along, it was way different because I had his father, his family, you know, a whole support system. Now that he's gone, I do feel the difference only because he's not here. But my support system is like awesome. But like being a mother, single mother, I do consider myself a single mother, but I do feel like I have a great support system.
Right.
A super great support system.
Okay, so what would you say to the young woman or the young man right now who might be thinking of committing an act that might cause somebody else to lose their child's father or their loved one?
I would say that what comes around goes around. Like, I don't really think it's another way to say it, because we live in a society where so everybody is out for eye, you know. So I think if people started to think that what your actions do, just imagine if tenfold that came back on you. And I think a lot of things would be prevented, like, because people don't think about the hurt or the devastation that they cause just by taking one man. That one man that was took from us, our whole life fell apart in one day. One day, everything, our living, our whole way of life fell apart. And you know, when you take something from somebody, you never know how much that hurts them. And then why take a life when at the end of the day you won't end up getting yours took in one way or another? If it's not to jail, it might be to retaliation. Yes. Or any kind of like karma. Like, basically, I really do honestly believe in karma. I believe that what you do is always going to come back to you. It don't matter if it don't come back right then and there. I feel like the universe has a way of dealing with it.
Good or bad.
Good or bad.
And so thanks, Shay.
You are welcome.
One more child, one more son left without his father.
Hi, my name is Daphne Austin. I'm a mother of a murdered son. My son's name was Tyreek Sharif Austin. He victim of homicide July 14, 2008 in Harford County, Maryland.
So, Miss Austin, what is your definition of a mother?
A mother is someone who carries a child for 9 months, delivers a healthy baby, which I did, and nurtured my child and took care of him and took him to doctor's appointments, took him to the dentist, got him ready for babysitter, for school.
So tell us about the moment when you realized you had lost your son due to a homicide.
Well, it was a Sunday evening. That was July the 13th. It was on a Sunday night. About 11:30, I received a phone call saying that Tariq had been shot. Now, I knew Tariq went to a party, and why would Tariq be shot? Nobody wouldn't shoot Tariq. I said, you know what? Y'all playing games on my phone. I said, do not call this house again and stop playing on the phone. So I hung up. So I called Tyreek's cell phone. You know, I didn't get an answer. So then I told my husband, I said, well, I'm not going to put no weight. I think somebody's playing on the phone. So about 10, 15 minutes later, his friend Craig called. That's when I knew it was serious, because Craig took him to the party. He was with Craig and his friends. And my husband go to the scene, and there it was.
So do y'all know the reason behind it?
We have no idea. Some speculation, or maybe over his girlfriend, or maybe this, or mistaken identity, maybe
So
a gang initiation. He was shot in the head. And in Hartford County during that time, we were getting a lot of gang activity.
So were you and your son close?
Oh, very close.
Do you blame his lifestyle? Do you blame yourself? Not that you would,
No,
but
I
do
don't
you know-
blame myself. The only thing I blame myself was that night he asked my husband for the 15 hours to go to the party. And my husband said no. Of course, he come upstairs and snuggle all on me and all. And I say, well, it's not going to, I mean, you know, I'm going to give him the 15 hours. Matter of fact, I gave him a 20. I said, you bring my $5 change back here.
And so he's not your only child, right?
No, he's my
So
second
how
child.
has this impacted you being a mother, and how do you interact with your other kids now?
Well, it took a long time. It took my children to say, Mom, hello, don't forget about us over here. You have two other children, which I have another son, Malik, my daughter, Shakira. But
Right.
I don't know. God kept me. I maintained my health and my strength. There was some hard days, though, trying to get up and try to force yourself to live and force yourself to get back in your normal routine and
So
all. And it
how-
still happens today. It's 9.5 years.
So
And it still happens.
and how are your other kids? How are they doing with this? With the
My
loss of their
oldest
brother?
son, not so well. He doesn't even want us to talk about it. He's 34. He doesn't even want us to say Tyreek's name because he's angry. And the people that we know who did it, who are responsible, that we heard who did it, they're still walking around the streets. And my son runs into him. I run into him. I know that, we know. My daughter, she didn't even want to go to school. She was 16 at the time.
So you said y'all know the people.
From what people have told us,
Who it
we
could've
don't
been.
personally
Right.
we know who they look like, things like that. But the law says it's circumstantial evidence. So
So did Tyreek have children?
no children, thank God. Sometimes I wish he did, but I thank God he didn't have any children. 'Cause he
Okay.
wasn't ready for no children. He was only 22.
Right. Wow, young.
Yeah.
So not only is Miss Austin a mother left behind, but she is the founder of Mothers of Murdered Sons and Daughters, and it's an organization. So Miss Austin, tell us what we know the motive. We kind of know the motivation of you starting it, but how did you come about starting this organization?
Well, ironically, one of Tariq's friends had got killed a year before him, and his mom was able to get a trial. And Tariq would go to the courthouse with her every day to the child, and there was a conviction. And ironically, a year later, she comes to my house to come. I didn't know her. I met her at her son's viewing. I knew her son played on the basketball team with my kids, but I never met her. And ironically, I think it was that Wednesday, 2 days after Tyreek had, she came to my house to offer her condolences like I did to her. And we used to started going to community meetings and, talking about, okay, we got a problem out here in Hartford County. So we would go with the legislators and the police, sheriff's office and stuff. So we started meeting with them, going to the community groups, and we got a problem here and we got to get it rectified. So that's how we start. And then we would just go every Monday to the meetings. Then the people in the groups would say, here come the moms. Because, we were
And
very
that's how you came up with
boisterous.
the
And that's
name.
how we came up with moms. Yes.
So how long has it been since the organization been going?
We started immediately. Tariq got killed July the 14th. In September of that year, we did a community healing night where we went out to the officials and got donations, and the Boys and Girls Club let us use the Boys and Girls Club. And we sent out flyers. We called all the community together.
That was
for
2008,
praying
right?
and
Okay.
2008.
Okay, and so how has this helped other families? And
Well, we extended ourselves, so we started going online. And what was helpful, a gentleman, pastor, he allowed us to use his church. Pastor Stanley Cruz down there on St. John's Alpha and Omega on North Payson Street. And so we start sending flyers. Now, if anybody want to come for community talk, and we invited moms who lost their children, so they can have an outlet somewhere to come and express themselves.
And moms don't only help moms; they help the fathers and the whole family.
Right.
And so what are the programs that y'all have?
Well, we have a grief support now. That's every Tuesday night at 7:00. We have a house now that we rent, and the moms can come in. It's fixed up nice. Okay. Children, pictures, moms. You come in, and we have support counselors there, and everybody. It's like an NAAA meeting where everybody can just come, and if they want to come every Tuesday and talk about their case, they walk. Sometimes at home, your family, your friends, and neighbors, and so you get a little leery talking to them about it. They don't really understand what you're going through. So we have moms where we all sit there and talk, and we can understand and cry together, and most importantly, heal together. Right. We don't let our children die. Our children are not just gone away. We use their death to bring change. I believe God has allowed these things to happen for change, and He chose our children. And we are their voices. So
tell us about. A lot of people don't know about this. Tell us about homicide density syndrome.
Well, we believe the homicide density syndrome, it starts from the community. It starts from the youth, where it's been in the communities and it stays there, and there's never no changes, so you become a product of your environment. So we want to try to change that through going out speaking with the youth, going to schools, talking to parents, principals, teachers, community leaders, pastors, telling them about things they need to look out for in young kids, so we can start getting them the help that they need at an early age.
Okay, so what would you say to the young woman or the young man who may be thinking about going out and committing an act right now that might take somebody else's son or somebody else's loved one?
That's a good question. Young man or young woman, because we have that too. This decision that you're going to make is going to be a quick thinking decision. Of course, you're probably making it out of anger or jealousy or something. That 60 seconds is going to change your life forever, change your mom's life, your family's life, and your community, and eventually the world. One bad decision that you're going to make, it's not worth it.
And Miss Austin, do you forgive the person who murdered your son?
If I really knew who he was and why the murder took place and all, at first it was no way. No way. You're going to jail, you're going to die, you're going to do whatever. But in my healing process, yes, I forgive him, because we live in a society that says it's okay to do this stuff. There's nobody out here saying enough is enough. They're not getting rid of it off of TV. They're not getting rid of it off of music, video games. Our children are inundated on the computers and sell everything in our lives, even my life. I know how to process it. Young people don't know how to process it. They think this is normal living. Right, and when they know that their friends have got away with it for years and years, their brother may have got away with it, their uncle may have got away, they don't attach themselves as ever going to be caught.
That's what I was saying too. One of the things that Miss Austin said, which I saw the quote, is we have to take back our communities and invest in our children.
Yeah.
So that's one of the things that I love that you said. So in closing out, what do you say to the mothers who still have their kids today, where their son might be in a bad lifestyle, who kids are still on earth? So what do you say to those mothers?
Moms, get your children some help. Go to a teacher, tell your pediatrician, your social worker. There's programs and all out here now that are being implemented that were never in place before. You can get them the help they need at a young age. You have to start recognizing signs as young as 5, 6, 7 years old. You cannot tell nowadays. You can't change a 10, 11, 12-year-old mind. You have to get them at young and recognize the signs and get them some help. And there may be parents who can't even help their own self.
Right.
Then the community needs to recognize this. The teacher needs to recognize it. Everybody needs to recognize this child and take him under your wings. It
takes a village.
Yes, it takes a village, and get them and help them get to the place that just a little love and affection, even knowing their name. Right. Always telling people, do a block party, light up a grill, hot dogs and hamburgers. Just do something and bring the kids around. I always let my husband never really liked the kids to come in the home. But I found the opportunity to let them come in because I got to know what was on their minds. I would ask those necessary questions. And a lot of them didn't have their parents. They wasn't in good home. And they would always say, well, Miss Austin, I left the door open for some of them, to come in. You can come in and share and talk and eat, get a shower and do whatever. But you got to hear Miss Daphne's mouth. And I'm going to give you that lesson.
Right.
And we need to go back to that. I come from a community where it was not allowed. People invested in us.
Right.
It was not allowed for us to go off the whim.
Right. So,
Yeah.
thank you, Miss Austin.
Well, thank you for having me.
Thank you. So, looking at these moms, and all these moms have lost something so close to them. It's sad, prayer for our city. But it's like, I'm not even supposed to talk about the time, but just this week, Wednesday night, a detective was killed in our city, a homicide, while he was investigating another homicide. This detective lost his life. Detective Suitor. He leaves behind a wife, 5 more kids left without a father, 5 more children left without their father, and he was trying to investigate another homicide. So it's like, pray for our city, but now it's time for us to do something. We have to do something, and like what Miss Austin said, we have to invest in our children. And I'm not saying, when I say invest in your children, like what she was saying, take back our communities. When I'm talking about invest in your kid, I'm talking about give your child the best you. Give your child the best, but make sure you are your best self when you are around your children. Give your child the best. Just be your best. Artistry. Another thing is artistry. Find out what makes our kids happy. Everybody have a gift, no matter what. Everybody has something that they are good at, whether it's math, whether it's football. Find out what makes your child, what is your child an artist? Everybody's an artist. So find out their creativity, and let's use that, and not these streets. Let's keep our kids out of these streets, and let's use that street hustle into a real hustle. Let's turn that street hustle into a hustle, like Miss Nikki said. No dream is too big. No dream is too big. So if your child into space, we need to be looking up space programs. Like, it's nothing too big for our kids. And invest in your children. Invest. Be your best self. For real. And that's just a start. I don't know what's going to happen with this city. We gotta pray. That's just a start. But I'm on the checkout with this one. And if for any moms, anybody who just lost their loved one, any fathers, you can look up the organization, Mothers of Murdered Sons and Daughters. They're on Instagram. That's a way to contact. You can contact them on the website. Mr. Wanda was talking about the Roberta House. So yeah, just pray for this city. It's sad. 5 more kids left without a father. Like, it's happening every day. Tank Semple.